Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. I need everybody inside the room right now to make some noise for Mr.
Ozman.
Okay, let's begin.
So I got so much loot. Hello, Spidey. I got so much loot from the dungeon that, as expected, I had to expand my storage chests out a bit. So I've used an array of chests just to extend this out. Very soon I'll move to ender storage, which will get rid of all of this kind of unsightly chests everywhere. I'll just be able to make a warehouse with an enormous amount of storage in it. But to do that, I need to get my power plant going. So that's going to be my next big project. Now, I have been doing a few more little improvements around the base. I thought I'd show you some of them. So I built a barn for the chickens. I was a bit sick of them just sitting out there in the open air. I've used some chisels. Using the chisel mod, I've made some interesting looking blocks to do it. But it looks like a bug to me. I call it the bug barn. And I made it very high. And one of the reasons I made it so high is because... Oh, hang on, I'll put my boots on. Is because I can sit up here and I can AFK. So just to break the fourth wall a little bit, while I'm editing and rendering all those videos that you've been watching, or these videos that you're watching, I often sit here AFK and let the chickens and everything produce resources so that I've always got plenty of resources to go. So I've got a nice high spot here where I can AFK, and it also lets me to use my fancy new glider. So I'm going to jump up. Right. There's my glider, and I can get a bit of gliding going straight away. Fancy, huh? Ooh. There I am, I'm the Batman. The glider is an upgrade to the chest, this dark plate. You can use a glider, or if you've got an elytra, you can actually install an elytra, but I don't have an elytra. Glider is easy to make, it's just some, hang on, I'll show you. The glider is easy to make, it's just leather and dark steel. Glider, so you make 2 of these glider wings. Bingo, you've got a glider, and you just install that into your dark chest, and away you go. So I've got a nice little platform to launch off now with my ridiculous high barn. Normally I'd make a flatter roof to make it look like a real barn, but this gives me somewhere to launch from. Cool, huh? I just wanted to make one quick little point about fluid cows. You can catch them, but if you've got 2 of the same type, like any other cow, you can breed them. So those 2 will make another Dew of the Void cow for me. See? So once you've got 2, if you want to make more, you just need to breed them like normal cows. Give them some hay, off they go. Just realised I hadn't actually mentioned that yet. So, hey you. So there's a little tip if you want to become a fluid cow boss like the Ozman. Alright, cheers. Now I've been getting ready in advance of building the power plant by playing out some areas and getting some crops worked out which are going to feed the majority of power. So the way an Ender IO power plant works is you take some resources, you feed them in to so the way you get it working is the most efficient power comes not from burning solid fuels in your Stirling generator, it comes from burning fluids in your combustion generator. And so a combustion generator works by taking fluids and using them to generate power. And the fluids that it can use is a bunch, but what we're going to use is we're going to use rocket fuel. And rocket fuel is made, hang on, rocket fuel is made by mixing gunpowder and redstone. So you're starting with hooch and you're adding in gunpowder and redstone and you get rocket fuel. So we need hooch, we need gunpowder, and we need redstone. So hooch is made using a vat, and you can add a couple of different things together into a vat and they'll bring out hooch. Okay, so my plan here is to use sugar and wheat and seeds to produce hooch, which will then be fed into a vat with redstone and gunpowder, which will come from, you guessed it, redstone and gunpowder chickens. Together they'll produce rocket fuel, and the rocket fuel will be used to turn out energy. So I've set these farms up, and to work out, you know, rough layout, you can see I've got this is combustion. I'm burning redstone or blaze lamps, so that's just 9 stacks of blaze rods can make a blaze lamp, which you can use as a solid fuel. And we've got our seeds and wheat from here, and this lovely stuff is comes from mystical agriculture. This is called nature essence, and I can use that to make sugar. So I don't have to worry about sugarcane. I can use this mystical agriculture stuff. I showed you before why I was generating so much inferium, etc. So I could get crops like this going. And if I look over here, if you lay out nature essence in this pattern, it gives you sugarcane. So what I've got here is, this is just a buffer, but you make sugarcane here and here. You just turn the sugarcane into sugar, and there's your sugar. Okay, so you saw this 2-step crafting approach in the last episode underneath the chicken factory. Well, now I'm using it to turn nature essence into sugar. Oof. Now this is all just sort of testing the layout. Okay. Ultimately, I want to get rid of all these chests, and I want to replace them with proper Ender IO storage options. Now that's a little bit kind of, I don't know, that's a bit excessive, but I want to do it because I want it to be basically pure Ender IO. The nice thing about using chests is you can just come in without an inventory panel and you can see what's going on. So we will get this all started using chests so that I can show you how it works. And I will off camera, I'll change the use the Ender IO storage, because the thing with Ender IO storage is you can't see what's inside an Ender IO storage module without a storage panel, our inventory panel, and we saw how much fun it is making inventory panels. So we'll start here where we can just see what's going on really easily as the process churns. You can see I've been testing out speeds and filling all these up so that we're ready to go from the start. But that's the plan. So bring this out here. Sugar, seeds and wheat. We'll get some classic, you've seen this before. We'll get redstone and gunpowder going in here, and we'll have the raw materials needed to start feeding our vats to make hooch, and our vats to convert the hooch into rocket fuel and into the Stirling generators. And I'm going to make a big array of Stirling generators, and we should have enough power to last us a lifetime. So that's the plan. Sounds good in practice. Sounds good in theory. But let's see how we go getting it going in practice. So what we need now is we'll get some chickens going here. We'll get this set up to bring out redstone and gunpowder. I've got 1 row here. Obviously I'll get 2 rows if need be. So I'll be back in a sec, and we'll have the chickens in there, and we'll go on from there. So I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, so time for a quick progress report. We've got our chickens going here. I've got 6 of each. I think hopefully that's enough to start filling these chests. Hopefully that's enough to provide what I need to keep the vats going continuously. I've laid out the item conduits that are going to pull the sugar, seeds and wheat out of these chests and feed them into the array of vats I'm going to have along here. I've got space for 4 vats. I'm going to start with 2. I'll just have 1 for seeds and sugar and 1 for wheat and sugar. And the other thing that vats need, and everything else is going to need, is they need a continuous supply of water when they're brewing. So what I've put down here is what's called a reservoir. It's another Ender IO item. And you fill it with water, and then you can just take water out of it continuously, and it fills itself back up. So it's a endless source water. Okay, so that's what that is. I've hidden that away because I don't think I need to see it. So let's fill that back in. No, let's fill that bucket up. Always good to have a bucket of water. We'll take something out of that in a sec. In fact, dirt. I'm going to need something from that pretty much straight away. Okay. That's the end, isn't it? Yep. Okay. Remember, we can have 4 different conduits in the same spot. So let's just take this pressurized water conduit. This will take fluid. Not there. Oop. Well, this should take fluid out of there. Fluid, fluid. And then we can put you there. And we can run fluid this way now. As well. Okay, cool. You extract, always active, that should fill it with water. There we go, we got water. Okay. That. We're going to need item filters, I think, but that here. Yeah, we're going to need some item filters. I'll make some item filters at some point, but that here, you'll see they're already filling with water. Okay, and they're taking water from the reservoir down here, constantly taking it, constantly filling it back up. So it should be impossible for them to run underwater. I can always just increase the size of the reservoir if need be. There we go, it's filled this length of pipe and both the vats. Okay, cool. Now I'll make some item filters so that we can tell it what we want. I'll show you that. Why not show my workings? Item filter. Let's make 4. You're going to be in. No, don't do that. Nothing went in for it. Nothing went in yet. Okay. Item filter. What's your white list is going to be? Sugar. Wheat. It's filling up with wheat again already because of the backlog. Okay, so your sugar and wheat. Excellent. And you're going to be seeds and sugar. If I don't use the seeds, they'll clog up the farm, and it'd have to be put into a bin with a whitelist and everything. I may as well use them to help generate hooch as well, which means we might need more sugar. So you'll notice that what I've got, got 2 ways of dealing with that if I need more sugar. I've got a whole nother farming station here. I could plant a whole nother farming station with nature seeds, or I could expand this whole field and put a capacitor in here that would give me much more space. But we won't really know until we've had it running for a while to see whether the sugar is not able to keep up with the others. But now we've got these vats set up. Let's turn some stuff on and see if we've got it working. We should now start getting sugar. And sugar. Okay. And always active and always active. We should now start seeing these filling up with that, and seeds, right. So what I'm going to do with the sugar, that's an extract, I'm going to turn what's called round robin mode on. What round robin mode does is it just says I'm going to find everything in that chain and I'm going to feed items to each, so that it's not like before where it filled up that one, then it went to that one. What it will do is it will fill this one a little bit, fill that one a little bit, fill this one a little bit, fill that one a little bit. Okay, so that'll help keep these things constantly underway. Alright, we have hooch. Excellent. Now we need somewhere to put all of that hooch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the hooch out and we're going to put it into a line of fluid tanks. We're going to have a kind of buffer system again where we put in fluid tanks before we then move it on to the next line of things, which is going to be making rocket fuel. So where are we going to put our fluid tanks? We're going to have that, that. I want to give myself some room. I'll put a space there, and we'll go fluid tank, fluid tank, fluid tank, fluid tank. We'll go into start with 4 fluid tanks. So we need to take the hooch out and put it into these fluid tanks. Come out the top here. 1, 2, 3. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to push the hooch across this line of fluid tanks so that we can have vats on the front. Actually, what am I doing? We're going to go inside here so that I can put a second layer on top if I need to. Cool. So we want this vat to push its fluids that way. We want this vat to push its fluids that way. We want this vat, and so on. I think you can see the pattern here. Nope, 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 not you. I want you to push your fluids that way. You're going to be extract, and you're going to be always active. We should see it coming out, and you'll see it flowing into here, then getting pushed along here. Have I set that one up correctly? Clearly not, because it's not pushing. Oh, it is pushing. Why isn't it going in there? I don't know. I'll sort that out in a minute. But the whole idea is that we fill and we push, we fill and we push, we fill and we push, so that we end up with there we go. We end up with a big line of hooch going along here, and then we can have a line of vats, another line of vats producing hooch. We'll stick them straight onto here, and each one will pull hooch from its relevant vat, and off we go. And okay, so let's take a break there. I'll have a sleep, and we'll come back on. I've got that stuff set up. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. We've got our farms going. Here we go. They're powering here. They're pushing items into here. Look in here. There's our wheat. There's some nature essence. We'll see some seeds at some point. There we go. They're feeding this line, which is madly brewing. Oh, goose. Which is madly brewing hooch, which is being pushed down here into these output tanks. Full, full, full. See, they're all full. This is now filled with gunpowder and redstone from our chests here. And all we need to do to get this started, you see this line's full of hooch. All we need to do is, now that is this line here, so this is the fluid pipe. We just go to insert, Bob's your uncle, we're brewing. And we'll just make you extract, and you'll extract into here. And there we go, we've got hooch. We're taking our redstone and our gunpowder, and we are brewing rocket fuel. He says, see here, we're brewing rocket fuel. This line here is doing the same thing. It's just going to take that rocket fuel and it's going to push it down to the end of the line. Always active. Okay, so push that rocket fuel out. It should push it across to the end here. We'll let this run for a while, and we'll see how we go. At the moment, it's all drawing power just from these two Stirling generators. You can see it really overpowered at the moment. Overused at the moment. And what we might do is stick another. Before we do that, we need some more item filters. So I'll go make an item. Go make an item filter. For that, I need paper. Have I got paper in my? There we go. Let's grab that. And now I want 2 more item filters. No, not yet a wrench. One, 2. Or do I want 3 more item? I want 3 more item filters just in case. There we go. I'm thinking I've obviously got heaps of hooch, but we're underway. Let's get 2 of that's going here with pop. So you are going to be insert. If we look in here, it'll start filling. But we're going to put item filter in here anyway, because that same line of, see how this is connected here, we could switch that off actually. It's a good idea, that way no seeds or wheat can get, there we go, can get over to this line. So this is just redstone and gunpowder. I'm going to put it in there anyway because you just like to future-proof things, because you never know what I might. Oh, I just turned that, didn't I? One problem with the Yeta wrench. So I never know how I might expand this. So whilst this currently is only connected to a product line that could put redstone and gunpowder in, I don't know what's going to go in there in the future. So I may as well just explicitly say, just take redstone and gunpowder no matter what is in this line. Oops. There we go. Okay. Oof. So you're already brewing. You've got power. Your fluid line is in and out. Let's make you explicitly insert. And we'll put another pressurized fluid line here. Extracting. Now you don't have any fluid to extract it, do you? You might. And now we're filling this up. Excellent. Now what we can do here, we've got a couple of options for where we put our powers, our Stirling generators, not our Stirling generators, sorry, our combustion generators. Basically, I'm going to put the combustion generator for now, I'm going to put it on top of this fluid line here. So in the future, if need be, I can extend this fluid line up, 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 up. We could turn around, we could go back down again, we could have a huge fluid line, right? But we'd need a lot of vats for that, obviously. That'd probably be overkill. So I'm going to start by putting the combustion generators up on top of here, so that they can directly suck the rocket fuel straight out of this line. So I will go and make one, and then we will see how we're going. Back in a sec. Okay. Combustion generator. You go on there. Boop. Now what a combustion generator needs, it needs water. So I'm going to run this water line along here. And we can run the water line. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe I'll put, yeah, I will. I'll put it here. Then I can run the water line underneath and in the bottom of the power generator. Put a line here. And then later on, if I needed to, I could put combustion generators up here. I mean, that's overkill though. But let's dig out a line for the water, because the other thing the combustion generator needs, it needs a water line. So, pressurized. I'm obviously going to put, oh, not you. I'm obviously going to put conduit facades on all of this. And I will not just leave this with dirt and grass and stuff like that. I'm going to put something that looks a bit more power planty. I'll use chisels to do something like that too. Great. Cool. You're purely extract. What up? Okay, let's get under here and have a look at this line. Make sure it's on. Make sure it's insert. Get down there. Insert. We should see this now has cooling fluid in it. Yep, so here's the cooling fluid. Now all it needs is some fuel. So you, sir, can pull rocket fuel from straight behind you. Pull. There we go. We're pulling in rocket fuel. We're generating 160 redstone flux. Nice. The other thing that line, that fluid line can do for us is it can be our power out. Because we obviously need to, there's no point generating all this power if we don't put it back into the power system. Now we have a loop. Now what we have is we have the power that we're generating being used by everything else. You can see straight away that sucked that straight out of there. So this system as a whole uses quite a lot of power. It was doing what it could with the with these ones here, but now that we're generating like mad things, we can really get some grunt out of this system. So let's run power along here and pressurized fluid along here. Not that. Yeah, I'll just get down next to it. Might help. Come on, why can't I see it? I'm going to have to get down again, I know. One of the problems with hiding conduits under the ground can be accessing them. Come on. No. No. Alright, hang on. But first we don't succeed. Get even lower. Now where does it want us to click this? Come on, you can do it. Come on. Why aren't you joining? There must be a way to do this. Oh, hang on. Do I just need to do something like this? There we go. Oh. Yeah. Can you tell I'm relatively new to this stuff? The conduit was just there, it needed to be turned on. That's all. Derp, derp, derp. Okay. Combustion generator. Here. It's got its fluid. Get your hooch from behind. Bingo. Now we're generating. Now we're generating. Combustion generator. combustion generator. And at the moment it's got no rocket fuel to pull because these aren't keeping up. It will have now. But I think we'll need to get 4 combustion generators going. I'm not sure how much. We need this system to settle down, but I'm not sure how much we'll get. And we're overproducing. Right? You can see this is filling up now, so we're now finally producing more than we need to. So we have excess power. There we go. And we're feeding it all into here. Everything's running. Power station. Power station. We've got plenty of hooch. Because what I want to do is get another vat producing rocket fuel here. And then we'll really stress the system. We'll see if we can generate enough redstone and, you know, enough resources to keep that going. We've got a good surplus here. Plenty here, plenty here. We haven't even eaten into our wheat. That's fine. Oh, this fertilised essence, well, that is one little weakness in this that I might eventually get around to fixing. But that's the basis of our power plant. Now, I could go up and I could compress this, I'm sure, into a much smaller scheme, you know, using machines and things passing. But I like this because it just shows it's really all laid out and everything's accessible. It's really obvious what's going on. Things aren't hidden away inside, you know, these sorts of I/O menus. Everything's connected with pipes, and I like having these as sort of buffers. Like, obviously you could stick a combustion generator straight on top of a vat, but I like being able to see what's going on in terms of supply and demand, so that's why I've laid it all out like this. Okay, sleep. You'll notice now that these, even though they're full, they're switching on and off, okay? And that's because we've now got so much supply. It's going down, going up. So they don't even need to be on all the time to meet the full power needs of everything that's attached to this. And that's because really what we're doing is we're just using enough power to generate power. Now we want an excess because we're going to run that power through a conduit network up into all these other machines here and all the way up through here, and it's going to provide power to everything. So all the way up to our our workshop, which is going to be up in the front there. But first, before I start laying all that sort of stuff out, I want to just make sure, run this for a while and make sure we've currently got enough farms and enough vats and enough things going on that I can keep stable power. So that's what I'll do. I mean, I won't show you that because I'm just going to have to let it run for quite a while, but that's what I'm going to do next. So I'll be back when I've got a bit more feedback on it.